Beep, beep. Good morning, everybody, and welcome to this thing that we like to call Northern News Now Plus on the Northern News Now Plus app. I'm your host, whether you like it or not, Matt Rasmussen, a.k.a. the King of Halloween, a.k.a. the morning show director here, a.k.a. host of Movie Mondays with Matt. So on this podcast episode, which is the companion piece to the television series, Movie Mondays with Matt, we're going to be talking about Fantastic Four, First Steps. So I saw this movie opening weekend, and I really enjoyed it. I'll just come right out of the gate and say I really liked this one. I thought that Marvel did a great job with this one. Fantastic Four is a franchise. Let's just get onto the franchise recap. They've been trying to make a good Fantastic Four movie from the beginning. And from the beginning, I mean rewind all the way back to 1994. That is when Roger Corman tried to make, well, very controversial thing where they were going to just try to hold on to the rights to the Fantastic Four. And they started prepping in 1993, and they had to prove that they were trying to make a film to keep on to holding on to the rights. Turns out they had never planned to release the movie. And they got a lot of amazing creative people involved with this film that had no idea that that was the case. And they put everything into it. They put their hearts and souls into that movie. And it shows. It really shows. Thank God we're able to see that movie. There's a whole thing where they were trying to destroy every copy of it. And one bootleg slipped out because someone was making a copy, brought it to a second-hand place to make a copy, and whoever was there, the guy there, saw what it was and understood the significance of it and kept a copy for himself before every copy was erased off the face of the earth. And due to that guy keeping that copy, it was able to be leaked out, a grainy VHS bootleg version, but nonetheless, we finally got to see it after all these years. And that one is just called The Fantastic Four in 1994. And that is a fun watch, regardless of how bad the effects and the budget are. It was like $1 million budget or less. And they did a lot of good stuff with what they had. And considering all the hurdles that film needed to overcome, it is a very fun and entertaining movie, and you can watch it anywhere. YouTube has it, and it's one of these you're not supposed to be able to see it kind of things, but it's out there. And I would definitely say check that out along with the companion documentary that came out a few years ago called Doomed, the story of the Fantastic Four. That tells you all the information you need to know about why it was being made and all the controversial stuff and the people involved. They interview all of the people involved, the actors. Really fun thing. So I'd say watch the documentary first, then watch this Fantastic Four, 1994. It's really fun. I don't care if you like to make fun of the memes. There's a lot of silly stuff in this movie, but they did the best with what they had, with what they could with what they had. Anyway, so that was the first attempt at a Fantastic Four movie, and I think it was one of the truest attempts, honestly, because then we jump ahead to 2004, I think it was, where they made or was it 2005? Again, just called The Fantastic Four, and that had Jessica Alba and some other amazing cast members. Of course, the guy who plays Captain America, Steve Rogers, he's in there, Chris Evans. So that was an okay one. I definitely think it needs a rewatch, but I thought it was just okay at the time. I always took issue with the fact that film presents those four, or is it the five, because Dr. Doom is there, they're all in the same place at the same time. The same thing happens to them, yet they all develop five radically different superpowers. I always took issue with that. It's not presented in a way that is plausible to me. So, you know, that one was okay. It did well enough in the box office that they commissioned a sequel then. In 2007, Fantastic Four: Rise of the Silver Surfer came out, and that was okay too. I love that they have Doug Jones as the Silver Surfer. Perfect casting there. And, you know, it's a little more silly, that one, but, you know, it's an okay watch. And that was the end of that particular franchise. Before then, they tried to reboot it again in 2015 with Fan Four Stick. It's, yeah, just Fantastic Four, Fan Four Stick, however you want to pronounce it. That's the one that gets an awful lot of hate. And, you know, it tried to be The Dark Knight was the problem. It tried to be way too dark and way too serious. You know, there was some good casting in it, and there were some good elements. Yeah, it was a botched attempt, but they tried at least. So I give it points for that. Definitely rewatch it if you want to see what all the hoopla is about with that one. And that was the last attempt at any Fan Four Stick Fantastic Four related thing until this new Marvel movie. And I was eagerly anticipating Marvel getting the rights back to the Fantastic Four, because I knew they would take it and not just, of course, incorporate it into the MCU, but expand upon the story and make it its own thing. And that is definitely what they did with First Steps. And I really appreciated it. It's very different than the other ones. I feel like Marvel was kind of forced to take it in a new direction, kind of like when they got Spider-Man back, they took Spider-Man and moved him into a different direction, because it's like we've seen all the stuff that he's capable of, let's do something different. You know, I enjoyed it, and it set up a bigger piece of the puzzle with what this new phase is. I love the casting. I love the chemistry of the characters. I thought it was one of the most solid iterations of the Fantastic Four. And, you know, honestly, this new one and the original 1994 one are my two favorites of all of the Fantastic Four movies. So definitely check out First Steps if you get the chance. If you're an MCU fan, you kind of have to watch it, because it is setting up some big moves that will become relevant in the upcoming films, including like Doomsday and all that stuff. So check out Fantastic Four: First Steps. I highly recommend it. And that is your recap of the Fantastic Four franchise up to this point. So stick around. We've got another one of these things. And I'll see you guys in just a bit. Thanks for watching, my friends.